dumb fucking geese. Get out of here.
I'm not impatient. What the fuck is... Hey, Brian.
Ryan, you need to just... This is a song you should listen to. Listen to this song.
It sounds more exciting than what it is.
Let's see how we can lose our next 3 listeners.
Can I tell my goddamn story?
Let's try to work on our people skills.
Can I tell my goddamn story?
Testicles, 1 2, testicles, 1 2. Welcome. You're back in the meantime with MeanDave. We're here. We got some new features here at In the Meantime with MeanDave. Zoom has these filters now, so you can see it in 3D. So it should be coming at you in 3D right now. No, I'm just kidding. They're just filters to put over your face. So you can see here's a variety of ones. It's just with the new download thing. Like now I'm an alien. I'm a one-eyed alien. Now I'm a pirate. There. Now I've got flowers in my hair. Now there's lollipops in front of me. There's a bird, cockatoo, right there. Now I'm a unicorn. So you can see that one. Now I've got a pizza hat. Now I'm cool. Now I'm surrounded by a bunch of happy faces. Now I'm in a TV. Now I'm number one. And then these are just color filters. Look at that. I didn't even notice these ones. You can be in black and white. Look at that. Which I do on my iMovie anyway, so there's no point to that. Today's episode, this is episode, let me count here because I'm still editing the one that's coming out this week. This should be episode 38. Yeah, this is episode 38. We're doing a mega checking in with a good friend of mine, Akil, who is somebody who's not a comedian. He is not in entertainment of any kind whatsoever. He is a friend of mine from recovery. So, and not to break anonymity here, but he's pretty public about it. And I thought it'd be a good chance to talk to one of my best friends who I've met through being in recovery, to just talk about how things have been since the shelter in place, because recovery has been quite a different. It's different with all of the things that have been going on in the last 5-6 months, and Akil is one of the guys that I look to as sort of he's not just a friend, he's also like a guy I look up to in the program and whatnot. He's not a sponsor of mine. I'd easily ask him to be my sponsor, but we're too good of friends, and I don't want to ruin. It's weird. You get a sponsor. I don't need to get into all this shit. We'll talk about it with him. But we got to come up with a title for this episode. So I guess trying to think of something with a recovery spin. Let's see here. You can say call beyond that. We're waiting for him to show up.
Buddy, how you doing? Huh? How's it going, little buddy? Ooh, are you stuck in the sink? Ooh, look at you. Poor little baby spider stuck in the sink like a little baby.
All right. Also, in this episode, you'll notice there's a little audio trouble. There's a little pops and stuff with Akil's his audio. I was gonna try and suggest he figure out a way to fix it, but he was on such a roll, and if you know Akil, it's best to just we'll just deal with it. So I'm sorry. I know the audio is not going to be it's not perfect, but I'm just going to ask you if you've been a Meantime fan this long, this show ain't perfect. You'll get through it. You can deal with it. You might have trouble understanding some of the things he says, but you'll get the gist of it enough and figure it all out. You're a smart audience. You watch this show. So enjoy this episode of The Meantime. Here he is. Oh my goodness. We figured it out. Testing 1 2. Look at this guy. So, thank you for joining me. I see you're enjoying yourself having a cigarette out in the backyard. How you doing?
Doing all right, man.
Doing
Pretty
all
good
right?
for Monday.
You're what's
Yeah.
pretty good
How
for a
you
Monday?
doing?
Pretty good for a Monday.
Yeah.
All right. That's
Yes.
good. So Akil, thank you for doing this. This is really my YouTube show, which I'm pretty sure you've never watched. So you're a friend of mine through being in recovery, which is not something that you've really like, I know we practice anonymity in the program and all that, but you're pretty open about your recovery. Is that true?
Yes. I am.
Yeah. So we met through being in recovery, 12-step recovery. Or you got in like 3 years before me. You were coming up on like 4 years, I think, when I first got in, doing comedy shows locally, and some people from recovery would come to the comedy shows, and I would see you around, and then you started coming to comedy shows, seeing him at the rooms. He's cool. He's at the comedy show, and then, but more or less, I got to know you. I got to know you seeing at those shows, and then outside St. James, I remember you were cracking me up. I don't know what the hell you were doing. You were just dancing or something.
Making up my own beat or something.
But my first time seeing you was even before that, because being in stand-up, I know, people are talking on stage. My job is people talking all the time to groups of people. Some talk better than others, but all of them seem to have a compulsion to want to be in front of people to get attention and try to public speak. Whether they make them laugh or not, that's a whole other deal. I think in my first 2 weeks of being in recovery, you were like you were one of the second or third speaker meetings I went to. And you shared, it was at the Sunday 4 p.m. And I could tell right away from your share, you did not like talking to a room full of people.
No, I don't. No.
Which is again why I'm thanking you for doing this, because I know when I asked you about this, you were like, "What do I got to do? Do I got to, Because I knew what was going to go through your head. I'm like, "Oh shit, I got." So you're telling me I got to talk and it's going to be in front of people. I'm like, no, it's just going to be you and me. People will see it later, and I'll edit anything that sucks out. But I don't plan on it, sucking. Just like whatever just doesn't flow. I'll it's all in editing. You're going to look good. Aside from just getting the view from somebody who's blowing you.
Look at that beautiful bird resting on that stick, minding his own business. Ah!
But no, the point being that you spoke, you shared, and that was one of your first times sharing to a group, correct?
Probably. Yes.
I think you said it.
Yeah. So, yes. So I really don't like talking in front of crowds, man. I like to do like one-on-one more mostly, dude. I mean, so that probably was one of the first times I shared, man. And I probably was super nervous, like moving around, like I still do. But yeah, public speaking is something I really don't like to do at all. So something I could work on
right now. You're pacing around right now.
Yeah, well, that's I always do, man. It's hard for me to sit still.
Exactly.
Gotta move. Make sure I'm alive.
Gotta move. Well, I'm hoping the audio doesn't trip out too much. I want to make sure your audio's But no. So that day, yes, you were pacing back and forth. I do an impression of you when you share, like, okay, so yeah, so like, let's go.
You know what I mean?
Well, 12 steps, okay. Yeah. So, and the thing I did, I remember I went up to you, which again, like right away. I mean, I didn't know you. I just saw you. You get to know people at meetings, but you feel when you see people at meetings. I walked right up to you and I said, "Hey, I do a job talking in front of people, and I gotta say, I was really impressed with you because you you powered through your share, and I knew how difficult. I could just easily see. I think everybody in the room could tell, but even just knowing from the job that I do, how hard that must have been that first time. And then I've seen you share, you know, I don't know how many times, and you get better and better, little by little, kind of feeling, you know, you just get more. You're more comfortable, even though I know you're still uncomfortable. You're more comfortable speaking in front of a group, and the thing I love about it is. After, you know, going to a number of speaker meetings, I look at recovery as kind of similar. I know who's, I don't want to say I know who's full of shit. I'm not saying they're full of shit, but I know who's putting on a show of recovery. And some people need that. They need to hear a more attractive share in a show. I tend to look at people's actions, getting to know them in recovery. And you're one of the people whose actions speak louder a lot. And a lot of the people I know who I think are lead by example are not the best speakers in a speaker meeting, but they have a experience that comes through. So,
Yes.
So tell us, tell the audience here what about you. What's your life story up to this point?
My life story up to this point was, I guess it's pretty natural, maybe common, but I was born, of course. You know what I mean? I got like a mother, father, got an older sister. There I go again saying
Don't worry about that.
Huh?
Don't worry about that. Say all you need to.
I played sports growing up as a kid. I had fun. There was some stuff that I guess I didn't recognize as a kid until I got in my teenage years. And so I first started using like sixth grade, sixth going to seventh grade. You know what I mean? And I just never knew how far that the disease of addiction would take me down like a road of down the road I did. You know what I'm saying? I went down. I pretty much went down. I did things and went places that I never would have probably done if I never used drugs. You know what I mean? I tried to. So I thought that my area was the problem. So I picked up and moved away to Arizona, and then I took myself out there with me, and I had the same problems out there. But out there, I just really have any, I guess you say, safety net. So I really went off the rails. Had a head injury out there, came back home to California, and picked back up where I left off. I mean, so, dang it. So basically, right, like, I know for me, I had multiple opportunities or safe or, well, I had things happen to me that you saying could have changed my life in my addiction, but I was so caught up in the raps, just getting more and more, and just be on that little pink cloud, which sooner or later will disappear away. You know what I'm saying? Go away, and then using stops being fun and turns into like a chore. You know what I mean? And I pretty much almost smoked up or drank up everything. The things that pretty much love the most, which is like my family. I almost like lost them in my disease. I mean, it wasn't until I got into the program, actually doing the work, and wanted a new way of life, that my life started to change. You know what I mean? I had many opportunities, done many programs, been to jail a couple times, but nothing happened until I was fully ready to give up the chokehold my disease had on me. You know what I mean? It wasn't until then that you said my life started to change. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm on lies after lies, back to back in my addiction, just to get people off my back. But it wasn't until I put down the drugs and the booze that you said my life started to change. I mean, yeah. So, quick version of it. I do good. I get in trouble. I'll be good for about 2 weeks. I do the same shit. I get the same results. And then this last time, I decided that I wanted a better life because the way I was going nowhere. And so I jumped in, and I took suggestions, and I followed the suggestions. And when I done that, my life steadily started to get better. I mean, I was able to go back to school. I was able to get my license back after 12 years. I mean, and now I have a career, which sometimes is up, sometimes it's down. But I know that no matter what happens, me going back to the way that I used to be won't help nothing. It will just make it a lot worse. I mean, like for me, for this addict, I have to keep that in the forefront of my mind. My last time I got loaded. I mean, because if I don't, there will be like another time that you said, I'll forget the past and like, oh no, I'm okay. I can handle it now. And then next thing I know, I'm back in jail, if not dead. You know what I'm saying? And like all the things I required since being clean, to all fit in a pipe or a bottle, real quick. And one thing I don't want to lose that you say after some time of like being here doing the work that you said I was able to get back was like my family's trust and love. I mean, because towards the end of my addiction, couldn't be trusted. Like if my parents left the house, I had to leave the house. I was put on a curfew, and that curfew, I ran with that shit to help me stay deeper in my addiction. And I never really thought about my effects of my own actions would put on like anybody else besides myself. Right? Sometimes you hear people say that I'm the only one that you say I'm hurting. It's not true. You know what I'm saying? The people that love you and your friends, they all hurt. You know what I mean? I never realized that until you say I put down the substances, and got clean for a while and doing the do. That you say I slowly and surely started to figure that out. You know what I mean? A couple times, my old friends, my associates even told me like, "Dude, you got a problem." I'm like, "F you. It's not my fault that you can't hang with me."
You can
You know what I mean?
cuss. You can cuss.
But
you can cuss.
all right. So pretty much I was like, man, fuck y'all. Y'all some lightweight, pussy ass motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? I won't do what you say I want to do. And I never realized that you saying I was taking it a lot farther than you said I wanted to until it was too late. Just like most of us do. I mean, we ended up in court because of the fucking cops. The cops always fuck with us because pretty down. All right, so I'm grateful for the cops. You know what I'm saying? I know that might sound weird, but if it was for the police, I'd probably be dead right now. I mean, I know it's a lot of controversy going on right now, but at that time, if I would have stayed on the same path I was on, I'm pretty sure I would have killed myself. You know what I mean? I'd not be locked up in prison. And I know you guys can't really see it right now, but I'm too damn fine to be locked up in prison. And I like my freedom. You know what I mean? So, yeah, man. It wasn't until like I put down my substance, and actually did some footwork, and actually listening and making my amends, that I started to like realize that how much pain I caused people. Mainly my parents. You know what I mean? Because I'm pretty sure no parents wants to see their kids strung out on drugs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I stole, disrespected their house. At one time, I took over the garage with fucking bullshit, hella fucking bike parts, stolen goods, speaker systems, house speaker systems, chairs, like everything I thought was valuable at the time, which is pretty much just junk. But yeah, like so I just gotta remember how bad it was, the places it took me, so that way I don't ever have to go there again. You know what I mean? Because I really don't want to. Yeah, man. So so basically, right now I put down the drugs and the alcohol. Like now, I work on other things that you said I might have problems with. Like mainly with me, like it's not all about me anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes I have to give back. So it's like nowadays I'm putting more effort and time in with my parents because they're getting older and have some health issues. So I know my parents were there in my disease, helping me, and then I probably caused a lot of stress and anguish on them. So for me, for this addict, it's like the next right thing to do is like give back and help them out the times I can. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying that saying my life is perfect today, but it's a lot better than what it was when I was out there in the streets in my addiction. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like now I can actually like enjoy life. I can like travel outside of my city and do things. I have some money in my pocket now because I'm not spending it on drugs. Because there was a time that I went to work and that money I got for that day went straight to the dope dealer. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Or basically the liquor store, and I had nothing to show for it. Like now it's like slowly but surely, I'm coming back to my right mind, and I like to hold on to stuff now. You know what I mean? Because it sucks not for me. It sucks not having a license, but you see, I found ways and means to get more and get around. I mean, I was used to walking a lot, riding bicycles, and yeah, like now because of this program, and put some hard work and effort, I'm able to get my license back, and I'm able to drive a car now. You know what I'm saying? And that's a blessing that I took for granted in my disease.
Got a nice car too.
Yeah, it's only it is a nice car. I mean, sometimes
not allowed to
trip out.
smoke in it.
Yeah, no, I'm saying.
Used to smoke.
Not now, like the older car.
I miss your old shitty car.
Yeah, the old one. Yeah, it's still a good car to me, man. But it was old, dude. It's like 99. So I was like,
I love
smoke
that
it up.
Yeah. Smoke a cigar in there.
Smoking cigarettes, cigars.
I'm happy for your new car, but we can't smoke in that. Shit, man.
No, brother.
You've had actually
you
cycled through 2 new cars. You had 2 different new cars that you got a new car and you're like, nope, getting another one. So
I don't like this one. This one's too small.
Yeah, you got another one and it looked cooler even. So
yeah. So that was funny, dude. It was like, but so basically like if I keep learning, like now I want to learn more stuff. And he's saying like for me to learn more stuff, I'm gonna have to go through situations to actually teach me like life lessons. Like so right now my life lesson I learned about the cars. I should have paid that car off first and then started back to get this new car. But because of my impatience and me being impatient, like so that's what I had to work on. I mean, my patience. Like sometimes I get bug up my butt and I'm like I want what I want and I want it now. I mean, and so as long as I'm willing to learn and take suggestions and ask for help, everything's gonna be okay, man. You know what I mean? Because I know for me, it's like I'll struggle with shit forever and not talk about it. And then you say I suffer silently, and like nobody knows my pain until you say I like tell somebody. I'm saying either my support group or my sponsor. You know what I mean? And like sometimes I know for sure that nowadays everybody has lives, so sometimes I'm gonna have to take it to my higher power. You know what I mean? That's something that's still something I'm working on. You know what I'm saying? My communication with my higher power. Because you're saying sometimes I still want to be living self-will. You know what I mean? And I notice me living in self-will sometimes causes my own problems. You know what I mean?
No shit.
So.
Here's what I love, man. This is the thing I love about you, Akil. I just asked you to tell your life story in a brief thing, and you went into a full-on NAAA share. Like that was just that for anybody who's watching this. You just got the front row seat. That and not only that, it was eloquent as fuck. Like if you to know Akil, that was top-notch, A+, first class recovery share of the message that we do. How many years you have now? Are you 11? Is it 11 this year?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. So
it's 11. So this past year I have 11. Yes.
Yeah, because you hit 4 years when I first got in recovery. Like so that's what I remember about it. Because and you celebrated 10 years last year. So and it's an ongoing process as we I learned from watching you and being friends with you and friends with other members in the program and stuff. But it was funny. I remember you came to a show in like 2017. You came to see Judy Tenuta when I was performing with her. And you met one of my oldest friends, Daryl, who I grew up with in Newark. And he was sitting next to you. Here you are sitting next to what essentially is a stranger, but he's an old friend of mine. And you're a current friend of mine that feels like an old friend. And I was like, you two will get along great. Don't worry about it. Like whatever. And I forget what Daryl said. He knew your sense. He could tell your sense of humor. Like there was something that you said under your breath or whatever. There's you have a hilarious sense of humor that's very subtle. You take smoke breaks even when there are no smoke breaks in a meeting. But it was during the smoke break. I don't know what was going on, but you just kept shooting me a look like you were like, Dave, come on, man. Where's my hug? Where's my hug? Like you were just like there was something about that, and then I don't know what it was, but that on that particular night you were just on. Because you just would shoot me a look, and I just couldn't. I was cracking up, and so it's one of those. I joke around when people first meet you. I said, if you you'll know my friend Akil. He looks like Ice Cube if Ice Cube was nice, and so I say he looks like Nice Cube. So it's Mean Dave and Nice Cube. That's the running joke there. When you're serious about the program, I see the same thing. It was something I saw in comedy too. You see who's also serious when they're doing the same things and going to the same lengths to, you start to see who's doing that. And as they say, they stick with the winners, that kind of thing. You look for people who are doing in recovery. And the thing that always attracted me to being around you is you just, for the most part, you look like you're enjoying yourself in recovery. And that's attractive to a lot of people because a lot of people, when you show up to a meeting, you're the cool kid at all the meetings. It's funny. I know you shake your head at that, but you're a very popular person in recovery, and not just in our local area, because you do a lot of service at conventions and other shit. And dude, I dare say you're international. Because if you go to meetings, I guarantee there's people from outside the country who will go to the meetings and be like, "Oh, Akil, good to see you, Blake." Just there's those motherfuckers.
Oh, bloke.
Like our friend, we have another friend who's been to Africa and gone to meetings there. He's got friends in Africa and whatnot from going to conventions out there and stuff. So, but you have a charisma of recovery that has like. You're kind of one of those people that when you show up, that's why I always like the fact that you like hanging out one-on-one with me because you're like, I need to get away from these motherfuckers, Dave. But it is something that I think it's an amazing quality. I think it's a great quality to have. If there's somebody who's finding difficulty with being friends with you, chances are they have some shit they are looking in the mirror about because you're one of those people that when I know just recently I've got to see some of my ugly side with being pissed off about wanting to go to the movies with you, seeing that you went to the movies to see the very movie I wanted to see with a friend of ours, and I was like, God damn it, this motherfucker went to those movies, and and those are my shortcomings. But we can laugh at all those, and I know myself to be able to laugh at that and be like, all right, I just gotta protect Akil from my pettiness, so I put him on timeout. It's nothing he did. It's my headspace, and come back to it. And as you know, I'm can't stay mad at Akil.
Watch this. I'm gonna try to feed this rock to this squirrel. See if he's stupid enough to fucking eat it. Hey, buddy, come here. Oh, yeah, I go, fuck yourself.
But now that we've been in shelter in place since March, what's been your experience with recovery and shelter in place?
So shelter in place is recovery. It's cool. It's not really cool. It's a little it can be a little hard because like I know for me, like I'm able to get it to like log on to like these the Zoom things, and but my biggest issue is like the people that that don't have the technology to log on to Zoom. You know what I mean? Well, this is my own like point of view, whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's like a lot of these newcomers who are coming in now during this pandemic. I believe that they are having a lot harder time trying to get connected into recovery because they might not really have the access or means to get into a Zoom meeting, right? I personally like the in-person meetings, but just to be a law-abiding citizen, we gotta follow the rules, right? If you like them or not. You know what I mean? So if places don't want us to be there because of the CDC rules and regulations, I understand that. That's why, well, I know that you're saying there's phone lists, right? That people would call, right? But some people might not get the information because they have nowhere to go now. I mean, so they might stay back at the dope house or the lower area that they use at, and it can be very stressful and hard for them. I mean, for me, it is hard, but it is doable. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm lucky enough to got in before this whole pandemic thing happened, and I was able to get a phone list and like get a sponsor and have ways to still do my recovery. You know what I mean? That I have all the literature. You know what I'm saying? I can read. I can do my steps. And then the times that I'm struggling, I could log into a Zoom meeting, right? Which is kind of hard for me to do even today because I got to be present. You know what I'm saying?
You're one of those people at a meeting. I've gone to enough meetings with you, and I always bust your balls about. We'll get to a meeting, and the first thing you want to do is get up and go wander off to go smoke a cigarette. Not the first thing, actually. No, we'll get in the meet. We'll show up late sometimes, which I don't like doing.
Yeah. That's something.
Not often though. You're usually there. You're not so much late, but when we get there, you'll be. And this isn't just you. This is a lot of people. And if anybody's new to a meeting, this is something I noticed right away. Sit down at a meeting, and it tends to be a little more NA than AA, I would say, but people cannot sit still. they will get up and they will find some shit to try and distract them from, whether it's go get coffee, they'll go back and put cream in the motherfucker. Oh, let's look at the cookies. Are there cookies today? And I don't like this seat. I'm gonna go wander over to this seat. Oh man, I can't take it now. I'm gonna go outside and smoke a cigarette or whatever. And And so if you're at a speaker meeting, you're gonna listen to the speaker, and then you need a cigarette like you just had sex after a speaker is done. You got to go outside and smoke a cigarette and then come back. You take people that already have enough trouble focusing at a meeting. People are on their phones all the time, all that shit. And now you're gonna throw them the challenge of like, okay, now it's up to you to do it in the privacy of your own home or wherever you're at with a laptop or a phone, and it's up to you to like focus. It's interesting. It's interesting to watch people, and not only that, you leave your camera on. Some people don't like, I put my camera on because I don't give a shit. I actually, the only time I'll put the camera off is if I want to lay down and listen to the meeting. And there's still motherfuckers leave the camera on and they'll be laying down with the camera right by their pillow.
Going to the bathroom.
Yeah, going to the bathroom, whatever the hell it is. And so it's weird because I only got into some Zoom meetings thanks to one particular group that just had a lot. They had fun with their meetings, and I enjoy that group. And I get it. I can get into any meeting that I have to be at, but yeah, it's been. I know that you're somebody that definitely enjoys more. I mean, I think you're not the only one. I think part of what makes recovery work is the connectivity that we feel from physically being present around one another. I've seen some people get newcomers these past 6 months, and it's pretty incredible to see people get it through this difficult time. When this is their foundation, what they're learning about it through is this new adaptation of technology with the meetings. So I salute them because, we've had the benefit of developing a foundation enough to sort of be like, all right, this is a curveball, but we're not going to go out and use over it. Whereas we know people, I know you and I both know at least a few people who've gone back out. Since the shelter in place. There's a friend of mine who he wasn't in the rooms at the time, but he ended up ODing early in the shelter in place. And he was somebody who was talking to somebody who I met later about needing to go back in recovery. And I didn't know I thought he was just smoking weed and maybe having a beer here or there. But it turned out he was into opiates at the time, and he ended up ODing on opiates early on in the shelter in place. And he was a guy that when I first got in recovery, he had a year. He actually gave me some inspiration early in my recovery. And then when he passed away, I hadn't stayed in touch with them. So it just reminded me to like be a little more vigilant and checking up on people and talking to people. If I'm thinking about somebody, like, I wonder what they're up to. Don't just think and wonder, hit them up, see how they're doing. And that's what I meant to say about when you came to that show with Judy Tenuta. I told my friend Daryl afterwards, because he was like, yeah, your friend Akil, he's pretty cool. He's a funny dude. Like you could tell, like, da-da-da-da. I said, yeah. I said, that dude's probably, the thing is, his simple friendship has probably saved lives in the meeting. I'm people like you, people like other people that I've met that we talk about, where it isn't just, there's people that, they have their preaching message and they get really passionate in their shares, or, I'm a little leery of the preachers. It's the people that I know that firsthand, they see people, they see newcomers, they go up to them, they give them a hug, they welcome them. But it isn't just that at that first meeting. It's they see people and they hang out. They say, hey, what's up, man? How you doing? And just simply, and then not only that, but not judging people, even though we're all judgmental people. I was telling you about this last night because I've been around you, been around some difficult people where I'm like, first thing I want to do is not be in the car with them again. And you're somebody who, I don't know what it is, man. And even when people get on your nerves or whatever, you give them another chance. You're, I'm downright annoying. I know that. And you forgive me. So.
Because I ain't perfect, dude. I know I probably annoy a lot of people too, dude. You know what I'm saying? But like, just like right now with the pandemic, it's like we can't really cut people off. We got to bring people together. I mean, because this world's going crazy, dude. You know what I'm saying right now with all this bullshit. But us being separate and divided won't help us out any, dude. So
no shit. No, and that's it. And it's, I mean, we watch it. Here's the thing that I'm always amazed, and it's kind of what's making I feel a little difficult with the shelter in place is that I've been when I'm in meetings, I don't think about politics. I don't think about, you know, the differences, you know, whatever gender issues, all of these things that everybody's caught up in, especially around election years. And, you know, and I know that I'm in the room with people that are going to have different opinions on a wide variety of issues. But when we're around each other and all we're trying to do is just, you know, stay clean and sober for another hour so that we can have another day so that we can continue on. Something about that, just really the bullshit goes to the wayside. And I've seen people have flat out arguments and see them later and giving each other hugs. But I've also seen people who don't particularly care for each other work together to make something work. And a lot of times even people with years in recovery choose not to see that all the time. That's one of the reasons why I had a commitment. We did a commitment at what's called area, where one of the thing I liked about it, I liked watching all the conflict because you know, I enjoy watching drama to go down, especially when it looks stupid. And you know, it's Jerry Springer. It's live Jerry Springer show. I love that shit. But over time, I watched people, like, the thing I like about it too is that not just that it's chaos, but that it gets resolved. People do work together to try and, you know, get through their differences, get through their differing opinions, and get to an end. And it works. And I don't have to control it and all that shit. And it just teaches me things to apply in my day-to-day life. And I think that's the difficult part right now is people are living their lives on social media so much. And I've watched people in recovery. I mean, I text you when I see, I'm like, you see this shit? Like somebody, you got somebody who's saying that, you know, who's freaking out about, you know, masks and in-person meetings. And then they take a group photo of them and a bunch of people from the rooms in their backyard having a party with no masks on. I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. And then you throw the political shit in there. You got people that are, you know, whatever on either sides of whatever. And, it's very easy to get caught up in that bullshit. And, I was just telling you, because I remember we sat in a car listening to somebody go off on some politics that both of us, nobody instigated it. And you and I had both did it. I remember your response was like, well, okay then. Because they went on for like 10 minutes, 10 minutes about some shit that neither of us cared about, I don't think we would agree with them, but we didn't really care first off. And but the fact that then also this is somebody that you go to movies with on a regular basis. You listen to this guy rant about some shit that technically it's like, you know, being a young black dude probably wouldn't care for hearing if you didn't know this guy through recovery. And then later on, you're like, you know, I know you go to movies with the guy and you see him on a regular basis. So, there's that shit that just, how do you do that, Akil?
I don't know, man. I don't know. No.
That's an excellent answer.
No, because like I can't. So basically, I can't control people. I mean, like some people are more passionate about stuff than others, and like everybody should have a place to vent. I mean, so I know that if it was that serious, they'll never talk to me again. I mean,
exactly. Yeah.
So
it's so hard.
Much,
I like what you said right there, though. But that if it was that serious, because I think that's what people.
Yeah.
There's something about the technology. And not just technology, it's TV. You know, when people watch TV and they get programmed by TV and they get caught up in this shit that's in their head, and they don't realize that they're just venting, you know, and now we got basically Facebook just looks and social media looks like everybody's mental farts, and then everybody's getting mad at everybody for farting, you know. I don't know.
Right.
So
Just
you start seeing the paragraphs come out, you know, people start commenting. Once you see a paragraph in a comment, you know, like, oh God. I don't know.
yeah. That's why you're saying. Yeah, because like one time it's like I posted some shit like a year ago, whatever, you know, fucking on Facebook, and then it just started dinging like, dude, fucking, I'm gonna take this shit down, dude. 'Cause to me, it was funny. It was a joke. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But people got I guess you got the feelings hurt. So I was like, you know what? Like, it's not that. Well, to me, it's not that serious. So I'll nip this in the bud to take this off because it's getting a little too crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Because some people like to stay online and just have fucking novels and shit.
It's for attention.
These are the facts. What do you want? It's like, dude. Yeah, it's like, dude, it's not that. Look, it's not that serious. It's just Facebook. Calm down. You know what I mean? If you don't like it, you can just keep scrolling. You know what I'm saying? Just keep scrolling. It's not difficult because I don't like it. All right? You don't have to fucking like the post. Just keep going past the post. You know what I'm saying? Nothing says that you have to respond on a post that you don't agree with. I mean,
yeah.
Especially not no 16 paragraph reply to it. It's fucking stupid, dude. I mean,
this was something that got brought up in my my news feed today, like a memory, and it's funny because this was before. Recently, I had I'm friends with a couple of, I'm friends with a couple police officers that I never, you think you live this long or whatever after dealing with cops the way that I have, that you'd be friends with a couple. One I know from he works at BART Police, and he's a guy who would go to my Cigar Lounge show. And then the other guy is actually a childhood friend that I lost track with. And then he ended up going out with a girl that I know from that I went to high school with, and they're dating, and he's a Fremont police officer. And they've come to shows too. So it's like, I don't care if you're, police officer, you come to my shows, you're royalty to me. And so anyways, so after obviously all a lot of the events with the killing and the protests and whatnot, there's been a lot of people that are either it's that whole dividing line of that either you got to be like, completely Black Lives Matter and anti-cop, or you got to be, or you're this, all lives matter, which is bordering on all the, Trump support and all that shit. And it's like, actually, it's like, I do feel that there are, police that need reform. And I also don't think that you can't really get rid of the police. It's just not practical in this world. But I also know that racism exists, and people do a lot of dirty shit based on racism. That's, firsthand. We see it on, we don't need the news to tell us. Some people do because they tend to be white, but that's just, how it is. And people want change and all that kind of shit. And so I ended up noticing that two people, or that the girl and the police officer boyfriend, that they weren't my Facebook friends anymore. And I don't really post any, like, I'm pretty aware of what I post. The only thing I made a joke a long time ago, and one of the officers actually liked it. That was that if you want to make a police, this was like right after all it went down and people were going kind of nutty over it. I said, if you want to make a police officer know how it feels, just go stand in front of one and step on a donut and make sure that the donut's jelly so that they can see the blood on the ground. And my friend liked it. And that's an innocent enough joke, I think, for the most part. It's, I'm not hating on cops. It's a common stereotype. Cops love donuts, and who doesn't love donuts, really? But
they're delicious.
Exactly. But so then I just noticed that my friends later on, I was like, oh shit, they're not in my Facebook friends, and we interact fairly much, and she does tend to lean conservative. I don't, and she, we have interactions, and she knows I'm not somebody that writes off people because of their beliefs and their views and all that. I told, she's a friend of mine. And so I actually messaged her, because she changed her profile to like be incognito. And yeah, and the police officer, he was, I don't know, he had to do some completely revamping of his profile. And I talked to her and she totally appreciated it. Found out why. Because yeah, they were seeing like all this, anti-cop shit and and he has family members that are even like, hating on cops and all that. And I was like, I understood. I totally, it's like, it's a shitty job too. I wouldn't want to, that's why I'm not one. But what you said, like, especially from people in recovery, like I had the best case scenario of a worst case scenario. I had the best CHP officers arrest me on my second DUI. And not only that, even the worst cops that I've had, I have a level of privilege that just based on the way I talk and my appearance, because I do know I've been around folks that have been harassed by cops. And yeah, the darker you are, the more likely you're going to get harassed, no matter who the fuck you are. Just it's something in both the culture, in just our species and our psychological makeup. But this memory came up, and I was like tempted to reshare, but I didn't, because again, I'm not. But I remember when I posted this, it said this is like 6 years ago. So I'm like I'm coming. This is the day before I hit my first year in recovery. A Union City police officer driving way over the speed limit without the emergency lights on was about to run a red light while I was crossing the crosswalk until they saw me. The car stopped just in time to avoid hitting me, then ran the red light before I finished crossing the street, breaking at least 2 standard driving laws for no seeable reason. That's why whenever bad things happen to police officers, I don't really lose any sleep, the same way that they don't lose any sleep whenever bad things happen to civilians at the hands of the police. No one's protecting nor serving anyone anymore. It's every civilian target for themselves. Not a positive post. You know what I mean? And not like I think everything has to be positive, but it was a very cynical post that I posted right after it happened, to kind of like illustrate and this was at a time where obviously it's like, it's not as in the, it's not, I'm posting to kind of provoke and, just to kind of like vent, like you were just saying, I was venting.
Right.
And the last thing, and then today, in today's day and age, if somebody were to see that, most people when they see that would share that and be like, yeah, same thing. Look what this 6 years ago. It's even worse now. I think a lot of recovery has helped me kind of understand, just like you said, it's like, if I reshare that, guess what's going to happen? Shit ton of comments, probably going to, alienate some people that I don't mean to alienate. I still feel kind of the same way. I don't feel any different. We have the benefit of this in recovery. When we go to meetings, we speak openly pretty much in that room, understanding that what's said in the room stays in the room, even though sometimes it doesn't.
It's out.
But there's something there. That's why when people who aren't addicts or alcoholics come to a meeting, they feel uncomfortable because they feel like they're hearing something they shouldn't be hearing.
Right.
Like it's like being around somebody who's naked. And yet when you're, well, depending on the nakedness, but I'm saying when you're on social media though, it's even worse, because you have this illusion of like as if like you're safe from emptying out your naked thoughts on this fucking device. And yet that's exactly what you're doing. You're letting people in. So when people say certain things, they don't that they would never say to someone's face, because you might get punched. There's people saying shit on there. It's like, you probably get fucking decked for that. If you say that, you would have enough sense to know not to say that. And it's one of those things, man, where it's like, it's not healthy. There's benefits to social media, but I think the biggest problem is that people just don't realize it's the Spider-Man, the rule of Spider-Man: with great power comes great responsibility. God damn it.
Yes.
And just think twice. I think you have to learn from trial and error, just like you said, like, oh, this post isn't worth it, I'm going to delete it.
Yes.
I don't know.
Look at this fucking guy. Look at him. Fuck off, squirrel. That's my bench. Get out of here. Piss off.
Dave.
Yep, Akil. Well, so we'll wrap this up here. I don't want to keep you too long. I appreciate you talking as long as you have. But
No problem.
I would say, what advice would you give anybody who's struggling through shelter in place with addiction right now?
Best advice I could probably give them is don't use, man. I mean, find like a different avenue to get past the 10 to 15 minutes urge that you want to use for. I mean, I know like 10 to 15 minutes is for like cigarettes, but like for drugs, I know if you pick it up now, it won't get any better. You know what I'm saying? It'll get worse, just from experience. You know what I mean? So hold on. I mean, hopefully this whole thing will pass soon, and there is hope, man. Keep the hope. You know what I'm saying? Keep the hope, because even today I still have some urges, whatever. But I know that if I pick up something, I don't want to go down that fucking dark rabbit hole again. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot easier to not pick. Well, yeah, for me. So you're clean now. Don't we reawaken the beast? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, totally.
Just don't do it. Bite your nails. Do some push-ups.
Totally, man. I mean, we've seen it. I mean, not just we've seen it. There's, I don't know. It's not easy. I'll say that, and I think the hardest part is, again, making it attractive to people that are new. But I've watched it. I'm seeing people. There's been people getting their first year lately, and this has been like, I'm like, holy shit! Talk about first year trials of recovery. Seen people get 30 days. But this is what I told. I got somebody was asking me to talk to somebody who was about to be a newcomer after they just had an intervention. And what I told them, I said, oddly enough, as a newcomer, this is the easiest time to do 90 meetings in 90 days. How hard is it? You just got to log in to a fucking computer. You could even leave your screen off if you really weren't feeling it. You can just leave your screen off and go dick around and come back and just tell somebody, yeah, I was at a meeting, and not even be present at the fucking meeting. You know how hard it is or how easy it would be to just lie. Which is what but it's the strangest thing when it comes to recovery meetings, man. Like it's the same thing. Like when people get their signatures, they you can fake that shit very easily. But yet people don't. Even the guy that I remember seeing who was only there to get signatures, as soon as he would get his signature, big guy would walk out the fucking meeting like letting everybody know he's just there for the fucking signature. And yet it was cracking me up. It's like, well, he still comes to the meeting and he still stays long enough to just get that signature and bounce. And it's like you could easily get him, you could easily fake him, but he still for some reason feels the honor system legitimacy of the recovery. Maybe maybe his parole officer knows people. I don't fucking know. But yeah, it's a funny thing how the honor system works in recovery for the most part. But thanks again. Thanks for doing this episode, Akil. I love you, man. Yeah, you're it's always great. Thanks for going outside your comfort zone to do this. And I would hope that if anybody ever interested in recovery or whatever ever is to watch my fucking show for whatever reason, they find something, they get a message out of it, and because the message is definitely in there. So
all right.
Right on, dude. Well, you're free to now look like you're about to bury a body in your garage, so you're free to do so. And let's go see a movie sometime, man. Movies are open.
Yeah.
So
yes, very soon.
Right on, sir. I'll talk to you soon.
I'll talk to you soon, brother.
Take care.
All right, you too, man. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. that was Akil, everybody. Wonderful dude, and love that guy. And like I said, for anybody who's interested in recovery, and you find, or if you are in recovery or whatever, make friends with him and make friends with me, because we're two people that definitely are good friends to have in this nonsense through while staying clean and sober. Also, in case you noticed, if you've watched this whole thing, thank you for being patient with his audio, because I was about to try and fix it or figure out some corrections, but it was you can deal with it enough for all of that. So, and thank you for joining the episode. Hit it, Captain Three Leg.
I mean, you know what I mean? You know what I say? He says he's mean. You know what I mean? Mean. You know what I mean? I say what I mean. That's true. I mean what I say. I'm so mean, I had a dream I beat myself up. I put my nose, I put my head, I wrestle myself to the ground. That's how mean. You know what I mean? I practically lie. And it took me all night. Because I'm so mean, I'm mean, you know what I mean? I jumped myself to death and broke the shelf and rolled out. Then I snapped my cup out the door to close the fucking rain. I'm mean what I say, you know what I mean? I'm meaner than spit, I'm meaner than shit, I'm meaner than mean. I'm mean.
Hey, bud. How's it going up there on your perch, huh? Oh.